What's up, everybody? It's your boy Alex and
Linda
and Junior, because it's a boy. I know it. I don't really, but I hope. No. But today we're gonna be doing another video for you guys. We are gonna tell you the story of that thing.
Yay!
We're gonna tell you the birth of her. Like, I don't want to go into detail because it's horrifying.
He said he's traumatized from watching.
Yeah. From
watching the birth. I had to give birth.
Alright, but we are gonna tell each other's sides, what we felt, how it went, what we saw, all of that. But since she is
what we saw, I didn't see nothing. You saw everything.
Alright, since she is the one that gave birth, she's gonna go tell the story. And like, if I feel like I need to say something, I'll jump in and say it, and she'll like just keep continuing. But yeah, so this is Ellie's birth story. It is Valentine's Day today, so if this video helps you guys understand what it is to have a baby, then you're welcome, I guess. I don't know, but this video is gonna maybe help you guys understand. So maybe then you could decide or not to have this brat. Alright, so we're gonna start it off. Linda's eating. She's pregnant.
Hi.
And
no, actually, I'm not sorry.
Yeah. Alright, Linda's gonna start off because she says she's the first one awake that day.
So, it was like 4-ish in the morning, and I still, like, I hadn't gotten any sleep, and I was feeling some cramps, and I just thought they were like Braxton Hicks contractions because I was feeling those the previous night.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, they're like warm-up contractions that you get before like the actual labor. So you get those a few days before the baby's born. So I was getting them 2 days before. I was getting those like 2 days before she was born, like 2 nights. So I just thought that's what it was. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go back to sleep. It's probably nothing. So I'm back to sleep, and they got stronger because they woke me up around 6. And by that time he was gone. You were already gone for work.
Yeah, so I guess that happened to her in the morning, but maybe like around 5. Yeah, around 5:30ish. I was getting ready for work,
and I was sleeping.
I already left the house by at 6 o'clock. I had to be at the yard, so I was gone from the house at 6, right?
Yeah, you left at like 5. Usually left at like 5:45 or 5:50.
Yeah. yeah, so I was at work. You know, I did the usual stuff. I had to go to my yard. I had to start taking down the material for my truck that I used the day before, and then put new material that I was going to use that day. We were doing that in the morning. We were trying to figure out where we were going to go. The supervisor was there handing us out our job sites, you know, because we travel to job sites in the city, go to different job sites.
And so then I was like I wasn't sure if they were like actual contractions, so I downloaded that app where you time them and you see how long they last. And they were about 15 minutes apart. Like 15, yeah, around that, like 10 to 15 minutes apart. But I still wasn't sure. I was like, what if, I don't know. I don't know, I was scared. So his mom was staying with us the past 2 weeks because
it was close to the due date.
Yeah, she wanted to, you know, be there because it was just us two living together, and like if I went into labor while he was at work, someone had to take me to the hospital. So she was sleeping on the couch and I went to the bathroom, and by this time it was like 7 o'clock. Yeah, around 7 o'clock. It was almost 7 o'clock. So, you know, they were getting stronger and stronger. I used the bathroom and then I went to the living room and I was like, I woke up his mom. I was like, hey, I think I'm in labor. Or I think I'm having contractions or something like that. Yo, she jumped up so quick. She jumped up. She was like, what? Really? Are you sure? And she asked me like how far apart they were and like how long they were lasting. And then I showed her the app that I had on my phone. And she was like, oh, okay, well, let's get ready and take you to the hospital and everything. She was like, you have your bag ready? I was like, yeah, I have my bag ready. So I just changed out of my pajamas and I put on a dress. And she was like, let Alex know that we're about to go to the hospital because we think, you know, you're in labor. So I texted him, but he wasn't answering because he doesn't really use his phone at work.
Yeah.
And I tried to call him and he didn't answer, and I was like, dang. And then at that time, his aunt came downstairs because we were living in their apartment building. And she was like, what's going on? Because she saw that we were awake and usually sleeping at that time. And Alex's mom was like, Linda's having contractions, so we're gonna go to the hospital, but we're trying to get a hold of Alex, but he's not answering because he doesn't use his phone at work. And she was like, just call Jorge, his uncle, because they work together. Mm-hmm. She was like, oh yeah, so she called Jorge, and she was, and I was like excited, so I was smiling the whole time. She was like, you're having contractions? I was like, yeah. And she was like, are you sure? You look, you don't look like you're in pain. I was like, I'm excited, I'm ready. And she was like, oh, okay. And she was like, how far apart are they? I was like, about 10, 15 minutes in between that. She was like, oh my gosh.
When I'm at work, I put my phone away because I don't want to get distracted from what I got to do, right? So as soon as I get there, I put my phone away. And so I was getting some material, and my uncle comes up to me. He's looking for me. He tells me that Linda's in labor. And I'm like, what? And, you know, I'm like, I gotta go. I just dropped everything and I'm like, all right, I'm out. So I left my car and my uncle would bring me to work with him. So I was like, all right. So I grabbed my phone, I called them, and I called my mom. No, I called you.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah.
And she was like,
by that time we were already on the way to his job. We got there and he was like, we picked him up, he got in the car. He was like, you sure you're in labor? I'm like, yes, I'm pretty sure. Like I was timing the contractions. By the time we picked him up, they were like 8 minutes apart. And
then I see them pull up and I get into the car and we're out. We're going to the hospital, that's it. No questions asked.
Yeah, and like as we were in the car, the contractions were getting like stronger.
Yeah.
They were getting a little painful, so I was like, but you know, I was happy, so that was it. I was trying not to show that I was in pain.
I was worried. I was like worried but excited. I was worried and excited at the same time. I don't know how, you know, like I just felt like, what? This is happening?
Yeah. And then we got to the hospital and I checked in. I went up to, it was all the way to the 12th floor. So we got up there. Well, your mom went to go park the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
His mom went to go park the car and we got there. And I went to the desk and I was like, hey, I didn't look like I was in pain or anything. So I was like, so I think I'm in labor. And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm having contractions. And they were like, how far apart are they? And I told them how far apart they were, and I showed them my app because I was tracking them on my phone. And they were like, okay, they asked for my insurance ID and all that. And then I got checked in, and then they took me to a room to check like how far I was dilated. So I went in that room, and I wasn't in my gown yet. I was still in the dress that I went in there with. And Alex, were you? No, he wasn't allowed in.
No,
he had to wait.
Yeah,
he had to wait in the waiting room. I was laying there, and I was feeling it more. It was like more real. And the nurse came and she was like, all right, we're gonna check you. So she checked how far I was, and I was already 4 centimeters when we got there. She said 3 to 4, so around there. So I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, but what we're gonna do, she was like, once you get to 3 centimeters, you can get admitted. Like if it's under that, you have to go home. I was like, okay, good. So we got, I was there. She was like, but before we like admit you to like your own room or whatever, you have to. We're gonna have you walk around to see if that helps. Makes you dilate faster or whatever. So I was like, okay, that was fine. And I went into the bathroom. There was a bathroom right across the waiting room, and I was feeling it, So, use the bathroom, wash my hands, whatever. And I got out, and my mom was there because she was coming from North Carolina, and it was so funny because she couldn't go until like that day, and that's the day that I went into labor. Like she arrived that morning, and everybody was like, "Oh, Ellie was waiting for your mom to get here, so she could,
be birthed,
come into the world or whatever."
Back out. So we walked around we walked to the elevators, then back to the door, to the elevators, around, back to the door. We did that a couple of times, and I remember a lot of crying. Like,
that's the thing though.
She cried a lot. Yes, she cried a lot while she was walking.
I would I would be in pain, and I would feel like I have to cry, but no tears came out.
No, she was crying.
Why?
She was crying. She don't remember. I remember she was crying and she was squeezing my hand.
Yeah, so yeah, I came out of the bathroom, my mom was there. And I don't know, I feel like my mom being there made me more comfortable being in pain.
Maybe.
I don't know. So it was Alex, it was his mom, it was his aunt, his grandma, and then Kim, and then my mom and my little brother. Yes. So they were all in the waiting room. Yes. So yeah, so I checked my phone and it was like 11 o'clock-ish. And I was like, I went up to the desk and I was like, can you guys please check me? Cause I'm in pain. Like they're definitely getting stronger. They're like, okay. Oh no, they told me to go back. They were like, no, just keep walking. Maybe like 1 more hour. And by that time I was like, are you serious? Like, I'm telling you, I'm in pain. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't say that, but I was just like, okay. So I got out. I kept walking. Probably like 30 minutes went by. And by this time I was like, can y'all please check me? Like, I'm in pain. And they were like, okay, we'll check you. And then they took me to the room, and I still had to wait for the freaking nurse. She took forever. By the time she came, it was like 12:30. So I was waiting for like an hour. And I was laying there in the bed. And I was like, oh, you know, I was like making noises, whatever. And there was another lady next to me, and they came to check me, and she was like, oh, you're about 6 to 7 centimeters. I was like, damn, that was fast. Like, that was fast. And I was like, okay. I was like, at what centimeter can I get the epidural? And they were like, at 6. I'm like, okay, so can I get it? So she checked me and she was like, oh, you're about 7 to 8, about 8 centimeters. And I was like, yeah, I could tell, cause God, I was in pain. I was like, where, like, can you call the guy? She was like, yeah, we called him, he's on his way. They said that like 2 hours ago.
Damn.
I was mad. So they moved me to my room, finally. And then you came in, right?
I think I was allowed to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you and my mom came in.
Yeah. Two at a time, yeah. They were sending 2 people at a time. So we went in, and I just Linda laying on the bed going, you know, she was breathing hard and like crying and all that.
The guy he finally came. And they checked how far I was dilated. I was 8 centimeters. They were like, oh, just in time. Like, yeah. If he would have gotten there in time, I would have been pissed. Oh, just in time, like, you know, like nothing. Yeah, like, it didn't take hours. So I was pissed. And by the time I got the epidural, it was like 4 o'clock.
My story is kind of whack because I was just in the waiting room the whole time while she was getting all the action.
My fault. You should have gave birth. He went in there and I told him that like half of my body was in pain. So we called the nurse and I told her. And it was like 9 o'clock. And she was like, all right, we're going to go ahead and break your water because you're at about 9 centimeters. And I was like, okay. So they stuck something in there to break my water. And it was like around 10 o'clock, you know, I was chilling in there with Alex in pain. And I was like, I was like, and he was like, what? I was like, I feel like I gotta poop. Like,
she was like, go call the nurse, I think it's time. I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. The nurse told me when it feels like I have to take a really big dump to call her. And I was like, okay. So I went out, I'm like, nurse, we need help. So she came in. She checked
me, she was like, oh yeah, you're at 10 centimeters, it's time to push. I was like, what? So he called my mom went into the room, and you know, the doctor came, he set up everything, my legs were, you know, up. They told Alex to hold one leg, and my mom to hold the other leg.
Yeah, I had to hold her knee, and I just had a like clear view of what was going on down there.
Yeah. And
I didn't want to have that view.
It didn't seem like he didn't want to have that view because he had a huge smile on his face. Like, he didn't look disgusted at all.
I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited to see like Ellie, and I don't know. I was excited, but then after everything, it just all.
You was traumatized.
Yeah, those images just stay in my head now. Mom was crying, and then the nurses told me to like. What was it called? Give her confidence or something like that. Give Linda confidence. So I just started like saying nice things to her, like you can do it, I believe in you, stuff like that. And then also like rubbing her leg like in reassurance or something like that.
Yeah.
I had to do that. But this right here is what I can't get out of my head. So Ellie's head is my head.
And he got a big head.
And I do have a big head. So Ellie has a big head.
She's smiling.
Yeah. And so
I'm a small person.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very petite. I'm small. I'm freaking 5 feet.
Yeah. So when it was time to get the head out, which is the first thing you get out.
That was the hardest, like I struggled.
Yes, like it took a while to get her head out. But the only way the head was coming out is that the doctor had to rip, like
the bottom part.
Like he did the ripping.
Yeah, like I wouldn't rip, so he put his fingers.
And
he was like,
he pushed down until it ripped, and I saw
like
everything.
he was like push, and while I was pushing, he was like pushing his fingers down, so it was like ripping.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
And I felt half of that rip.
Yeah.
I felt half of that rip.
Yeah. So.
And then Alex was like, I see her head.
Yeah, I did see her head, and then the doctor put Linda's hand on her head.
He was like, give me your hand.
And Linda started crying when she felt like Ellie's head. But yo, Ellie had a lot of hair.
I couldn't feel it though because it was slimy.
Yeah.
So I was like, does she have hair? And Alex was like, yeah, she got a lot of hair. Yeah. I was like, thank God, because you know, I had so much heartburn throughout my pregnancy, especially because I like love spicy. Look at her. So I had a lot of heartburn.
Yeah, so
Ellie had so much hair.
So once like the doctor put her hand on her and Linda started crying, the doctor ripped, and then Ellie's head popped out, and she was not like normal color. She was purplish. So that's regular. I found out. I was scared. She came out purple.
Purple/pink.
Yeah, and I was
once they put her on my chest, she was like pink.
Yeah, once I saw like she was purple, I was like, Thanos. That's gonna.
You didn't tell me she was purple.
No, yeah, she was purple, like pinkish, and I was like, what? Oh. I was worried, like legit, I was worried, and I was like, oh no, she can't breathe or something, you know? And then they were like, oh no, that's normal, and I'm like, oh, okay. So
yeah, as soon as her head came out, the rest of her body was
yeah, basically. It was like a bobblehead.
Yeah. So yeah, especially her.
Yeah.
So after she came out, they put her on my chest. Oh my God.
No, but they put her on their table first. No?
She had her umbilical cord still. How are they gonna put her on the table?
Okay.
So as soon as she came out, they put her on my chest.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. I looked down at her, and I was like, she looks just like you. Like I already saw like Alex. It was crazy. Her freaking eyes were like. She was pink because I knew she was gonna be like light skinned, and you know she was just laying on my chest.
Yo,
and he cut the umbilical cord.
Yes, I was gonna say. I remember how it was to cut the umbilical cord. I don't know if this happened to anybody else. I cut it, like if you're a guy and you had to cut your girl's umbilical cord or your baby's umbilical cord, whatever. But if you had to cut it, was it like easy to cut, or was it like, in my case, like hard to cut? Like, cause I went like, this is it, and I went like this, but it just slipped off. The scissors slipped off. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell? And I went like that, and I had to do that like 3 times to cut it through the whole way.
Yeah, so he cut it, and she was still in my chest, and she was on me for a little bit, and then they put her on the table so they could clean her and everything. So my mom was like taking pictures and stuff. So they put her on the table, and I was over here though, my legs started shaking like bad. And like it's normal, but like I couldn't control it. It was like it was like giving birth. No, yeah, so my legs were shaking like bad. And the freaking doctor scared me because he was like, all right, well, we need to hurry up and stitch her up because she's losing a lot of blood. And I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, well, what?
Yeah, I heard that. I was looking at my baby and like recording her and all that, and I was like, what's up, Snapchat? Say hello with a new baby.
And I'm over here like bleeding out to death.
No, really, I was recording Ellie at the table, and then in the background I hear, oh, we need to stitch her up because she's losing so much blood.
And I was like, but I mean, I was happy that she was, you know, healthy and everything. So the doctor, oh yeah, so after she came out also, my placenta had broke. So.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
so the doctor had to put his whole hand up to his wrist.
The doctor's hand went all the way in,
getting out my placenta.
Yeah, piece by piece. It
Yeah,
wasn't one whole thing. It was like piece by piece.
Yeah, he was like, I have to get everything because if not, like you could get an infection and die. No, he didn't say that, but he was like, you can get an infection and that's dangerous. And I was like, okay. He was getting everything out. There was a lot of blood. Like they took the thing from underneath me and they threw it away. It was like a trash bag. It looked like a trash bag full of like blood, and they like put it in a bin. And then that's when they were like, oh, we gotta stitch her up. She's bleeding like a lot. And you know, my legs were shaking, and they started stitching me up after they cleaned me with everything, like soap and everything. And like they cleaned my legs and everything. There was blood everywhere. So I didn't know this, but after you give birth, it is swollen down there. I saw this TikTok. This girl was like, I had balls. Like, it legit looks like balls. Like, it is huge. After that, we got moved to our second room.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that's when...
They had already brought back Ellie.
Yeah, they brought Ellie to us, and... that night was crazy because I had to sleep there. Like, it was just me and her, and we've never had a baby before. So we didn't do any. We didn't know what to do.
Yeah. We had a freaking YouTube video of how to swaddle her.
Yeah, I YouTube a video on how to swaddle her, and we clicked that nurse button like
so many times.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna be the end of this video.
Oh yeah, also. You guys didn't know.
Oh.
We're engaged now. Let me focus. Is it focused? Babe, move your face. We are engaged now. We gotta stop. Move, babe. I'm trying to focus it, please. Yeah, we are. Excuse my crusty nails. We're engaged. We got engaged in December.
All right. As always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this video with your friends, family, or whatevers. We all have whatevers. Okay, guys. As always, be happy, stay safe, and be humble.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day too. Catch you on the flip.